Welcome to Asset Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Asset Television. Hello and thanks for staying with us on Asset Television. Welcome to the news. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Nigerian Senate confirms appointment of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as Chief of Army Staff. All is set as President Tinubu presents 2025 budget this week before the National Assembly joint session. Rebels advance towards major cities in Syria as government solicits for support. In other news, in detail, President Bola Tinubu has directed the Ministry of Justice to work closely with the National Assembly to address the concerns raised by Nigerians following the controversy trailing the tax reforms bills. This was contained in a statement signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, titled President Tinubu Committed to Accountability on Tax Bills and direct Ministry of Justice to work with National Assembly on concerns. The President, who is in South Africa, handed down the review order as some northern youth stormed the National Assembly in support of the bills. The bills, the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill have generated hot debates and contention across the country, with northern governors and lawmakers opposed to their passage. Critics argue that the reform could disrupt the balance of fiscal federalism, potentially centralizing tax authority and diminishing state revenues. However, in a move to assuage the high emotion over the reform bills, Tinubu directed the Federal Ministry of Justice and relevant officials who worked on the draft to collaborate with the National Assembly to address all genuine concerns before the bills are passed. Well, the Nigerian Senate has confirmed the nomination of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede for appointment as Chief of Army Staff. The confirmation followed a consideration of reports by the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Yaradua Abdulaziz Musa. Yaradua said the committee was impressed with the high level of understanding, achievements and excellence stated that in credentials of the nominee.
The nomination of the nominee is in line with Section 217, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and in accordance with the provision of Section 18, subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Act Cap A20, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. The nominee possesses the required competence, experience, and educational qualification to be conferred as the Chief of Army Staff. That the nominee has been cleared by the Department of the State Services. The nominee also went through the correct process of promotion till date that qualified him to be in the position of the Chief of Army Staff. The committee also did not receive any petition against the nominee's confirmation as Chief of Army Staff. Recommendation of the committee. The Senate Committee on Nigerian Army, having diligently and meticulously conducted the screening of the nominee according to the Constitution and being satisfied with his conduct, competence, experience, and educational qualification, hereby recommend to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as follows: that Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede be confirmed as the Chief of Army Staff, having successfully undergone the screening process of this committee.
We found 2 refineries. One was commissioned in 1964, the other one in 1978. What is alarming that this projection is taking place on the refinery that was commissioned in 1964. That is the first one. When you go there you know from the bottom of your heart that something is amiss in this country. You could see clearly there was an internal sabotage and external influence. And we made the contractor, and he told us, sir, that it is only in Nigeria that he has seen this anomaly.
The challenges to the Nigerian economy are not just about the pressure on our local currency because of oil, crude importation. That's a major factor, yes. Luckily, if the reports are confirmed, as Senator Abdullahi Yahya said, by at least the first quarter of next year, if God helps and we wash and beyond formal reports, if we see consistency and these refineries are actually producing as they are projected to, then at least by the first quarter we should be able to see some significant reduction of pressure. But my colleagues, in this MTEF or in subsequent ones, or if we are to do an amendment, we need to find time to address the challenge of power generation. Because if we can contain this issue of importation of refined products, the next two other challenges to our national life and economy especially is production of power.
Well, the Senate thereafter confirmed the appointment of Oluyede as substantive Chief of Army Staff.
Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede for appointment as Chief of Army Staff? Those in support of the confirmation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede is hereby confirmed as Chief of Army Staff. Let me thank distinguished Senator Yaradua, Chairman of the Committee on the Army, and all the members of that committee, and all distinguished senators for their contributions, and wish the new Chief of Army Staff joy, successes, and progress. And do hope and pray that through this appointment, insecurity will be abated or minimized to the barest minimum, and Nigeria shall know peace. And the administration of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will succeed in bringing the insurgents ravaging many parts of Borno and other parts of northern Nigeria, including banditry, to an end. So I want to congratulate the newly confirmed nominee and wish him the best of luck in his appointment. And may the soul of our departed brother, the former Chief of Army Staff, Lagbaja, rest in perfect peace. Distinguished colleagues,
Lieutenant General Oluyede was appointed to act as the Chief of Army Staff following the illness and subsequent death of late Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja. Well, the Northeast Governors Forum has appointed Omar Gulani as its new Director General. This is contained in a statement issued by the forum's chairman and Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum through his spokesperson Dauda Iliya in Maiduguri. Zulum expressed confidence in Gulani's ability to lead the forum effectively, citing his extensive experience in governance and public service. He urged him to leverage his expertise to advance the forum's mission to fostering development and cooperation across the Northeast region. The governor also extended his gratitude to the outgoing Acting Director General, Muhammad Yusufari, for his contributions to the forum and the region during his tenure. Before his appointment, Gulami served as Director of General Services at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation from 2019 to 2020. He also played a key role as representative of the SGF's office on the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative from 2014 to 2019. Earlier, he worked as Deputy Director in the Department of Planning, Ministry of Defense from 2011 to 2013. Now, the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) has called for accountability and strengthening of the justice system to punish all criminal acts that undermine the country's security. The CAN president, Archbishop Daniel Oko, made the call during his goodwill message at the 4th quarterly meeting organized by Nigeria Interreligious Council in Abuja. The meeting, with the theme, Our Natural Resources and Insecurity in Nigeria, aimed to address the most pressing challenges facing the nation. According to him, religious leaders must continue to advocate for the right values in governance as embedded in the Holy Bible and Quran to establish good governance in the country. He said that religious leaders have a unique and vital role to play in addressing the issues bedeviling the nation. He further urged religious leaders to encourage the government at various levels to fish out the sponsors of criminality, no matter how highly placed, to face the law. More stories will come your way shortly after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome to Asset Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Asset Television.
Well, thank you for staying there. If you're just joining us, you are watching the news on Assets Television. Now to some business reports. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,725 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,730 Naira per dollar on Monday. However, the Naira was stable at 1,672 Naira 69 kobo per dollar in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM. Data from FMDQ showed that the indicative exchange rate for the Naira has maintained stability since Monday. The volume of dollars traded decreased by 18.2% to $207.86 million from $254.1 million traded on Monday. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and the FEM rate narrowed to 52.31% 31 Naira per dollar from 57.31 Naira per dollar on Monday. Well, as President Bola Tinubu prepares to present the 2025 budget to the National Assembly this week, the Senate on Tuesday gave its approval to the 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper submitted earlier by the President. This decision was based on the adoption of a report presented during plenary by the Senate's Joint Committees on Finance and National Planning and Economic Affairs, led by Senator Sani Musa, APC, Niger East. This was even as the Red Chamber mandated its committees on finance, petroleum upstream and downstream, as well as gas, to investigate reports from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Responsibility Commission, alleging that the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited withheld 8.48 trillion naira as claimed subsidies for petrol. It noted that the investigation would address the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NAIT) report, stating that NNPCL failed to remit 3.6 trillion naira in taxes to the federal government. The Senate further directed its committees to verify the total cumulative account of unremitted revenue under recovery from the sale of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, by the NNPCL between 2020 and 2023. It, however, directed the relevant committees to carry out an in-depth investigation of such agreements by the NNPCL, Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG, and Immigration Services with a view to reconciling remittances to the Federation account. In the 3-year projection, the Senate pegged the exchange rate at 1,400 naira per dollar for 2025, 2026, and 2027 respectively. While Nigeria is to harness its oil reserves and pursue its plans to increase oil output to fill the yearning gap in Africa. Henneken Lokwebiri, Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, said this on Tuesday at the 13th Practical Nigerian Content Forum organized by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board in Yenagoa. Henneken Lokwebiri, Minister of State of Petroleum, Lokwebiri explained that no country in the world will stop the production of the fossil fuels when there are still markets for it. Speaking on the theme, deepening the next frontier for Nigerian content implementation, the minister observed that UK was still given licenses for exploration. Also speaking, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Gas, Obongemen Egberigbe Ekpo, urged local businesses in the country to invest in compressed natural gas, CNG, as gas will be a mainstay of economy after energy transition. Earlier, the executive secretary of the board, Felix Ogbe, said the board has achieved 56% of Nigerian content level in 2024 compared to 26% in 2016. He stated that some of the achievements of the board include commissioning of AML technologies in Idu, Abuja, and the Kwale gas gathering facility in Delta, approval of 312 Nigerian content plans, and issuance of 402 Nigerian content compliance certificates by the board, amongst others. Well, the Nigeria Police Force has announced the suspension of 4 officers implicated in the theft of 43.16 million naira from a total of 74.95 million naira recovered from an unauthorized arrest at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The force spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi in a statement disclosed that the officers DSP Peter Ejike, Inspector Ekende Edwin, Inspector Esther Okafor, and Sergeant Talabi Kayode, all attached to Zone 7 headquarters, were found guilty of conspiring to tamper with exhibits, abuse of office, and other acts of misconduct. According to Adejobi, the officers, led by Inspector Okafor, under DSP Ejike's directive, arrested Andrew Eja, an employee of Fatfad Cargo Nigeria Limited, who was transporting the cash on behalf of clients in August 2023. The officers were alleged to have reported only 31.79 million naira as the recovered amount, concealing the remaining 43.16 million naira. Following a petition by the owners of the money, the case was escalated to the IGP monitoring unit. Adejobi said investigations revealed that the officers conspired to steal part of the cash and attempted to hide their tracks by claiming technical issues with evidence and spreading false narratives. While on the foreign scene now, Syrian rebels advancing against government forces pushed close on Tuesday to the major city of Hama. Rebels and a war monitor said after their sudden capture of Aleppo last week rocked President Bashar al-Assad. Rebels and the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights Watch monitor said insurgents had captured villages including Mar Shahur, a few miles north of the city, Syrian state media said reinforcements were arriving in the area. An attack on Hama would ramp up pressure on Assad, whose Russian and Iranian have scrambled to support him against a reviving rebellion. The city has remained in government hands since civil war erupted in 2011. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in an Arabic language interview that Tehran would consider sending troops to Syria if Damascus acts, and Russian President Vladimir Putin urged an end to terrorist aggression in Syria, according to media reports. World of Sports, the Nigerian Air Force NAV says it will partner the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development to host the forthcoming Nigeria International Air Show in 2025. This is contained in a statement by Tunde Moshood, Special Advisor on Media and Communications to Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, in Abuja. Moshood quoted the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, as saying this when he paid a courtesy visit to Keyamo in his office. Abubakar said that NAV had been independently planning its own air show before it got to know about the ministry's similar initiative to organize one in Lagos. He said that the united approach significantly enhanced the event's impact and it reinforced global appeal. Keyamo described Abubakar's foresight as a critical step towards showcasing Nigeria's aviation and aerospace capabilities to the world. According to him, the show will be a platform for showcasing cutting-edge technologies, fostering partnership, and exploring opportunities for the advancement of Nigeria's aviation sector. Well, with that sports story, we end the news. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.
Welcome to Asset Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sport and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Asset Television.